Hey guys, welcome back to another YouTube video. So in this video I'm just gonna do a quick recap on a trade that I missed. This trade actually. It was a trade on Nasdaq on Friday. As you can see how I outlined it, the open, the low and the high. That was my prediction. I did share this in the Telegram channel, so I'm just going to run through that and then just give you guys my view on what I am expecting on Nasdaq for the week. All right, so let me just head to the Telegram channel in which way I did share this. It was right here. Yeah, so this was the weekly time frame. So I just marked out what every down close candle could potentially be, like this one that we had recently. That's a potential order block that we do have, right? Or that price was at that moment in time. All right, so once price was in that range or within that area of interest which I marked out, which is the order block, and I just marked out the others just to show you guys that whenever we have a drop, you can always refer to the last down close candle, right? But you don't just look at that alone. You have to look at other reference points to confluence with your decision making in taking the trade. All right, so this was how price was looking at that moment in time when I took this screenshot. All right, so I just marked that out for the members in the Telegram channel. All right, so this was on the daily time frame. All right, there's the red line is the order block which I marked out, and this was the daily time frame area of interest which I also marked out, but price does not have to get there, right? So once price reached into the weekly order block, all right, which is the red line, only then is where we can start to stock price and see what price gives us. All right, if there's any confirmation or any influence from the weekly order block that gives us a hint as to say that price wants to head towards the upside. All right, so this was also the area of interest which I marked out on the daily time frame. All right, so like I said, once price reaches in your higher time frame area of interest, whether it's your monthly, weekly or your daily, that's when you can start stocking price on lower time frame to then take your decision making on whether you want to buy or sell. And let's just see. So this was this is the 4 hour. All right, so you can see again the red line is just the weekly order block, and then the daily order block would obviously be these last 3 down close candles. All right, and the 4 hour order block which I marked out was just refined, all right, from the daily to the 4 hour. And obviously you can see I just marked out the old lows because we also do have a potential order block right here, and obviously underneath that we do have a imbalance in which price could then reach out. But like I said, once price reaches your higher time frame area of interest, you can then start to stock price, because price might not reach into the area of interest which you marked out or which you redefined on the lower time frame. So let's say you marked out a order block on the weekly and then you redefine it on a daily time frame. So price might not get to that daily time frame area of interest, so just keep that in mind. All right, price will do what it has to do. So this was also this is the H1. Yeah, so this was just the Thursday prediction which I marked out. I wanted to see price head lower, but price stayed within the weekly order block and just moved higher, as you saw from the previous slide, which is here. All right, you can see right here, price just dropped. Price did not move lower towards the daily order block, which I marked out. Price just moved higher. So from this instant, once price moved higher, price showed willingness and price showed respect from the weekly order block. So that gave me a hint that that the next day on Friday price might drop lower, and then I could then look for long opportunities, right? But I will get into that. So I just need to see, this was also just US30 was doing more or less the same thing, and this was just what I marked out for the people in the Telegram channel. All right, the link is here in the bio of the channel. Right, I said once price gets in the weekly time frame area of interest, you can then stalk your lower time frame, whether it's your 15-minute or your 5-minute, whichever time frame you use for entries. All right, you want to wait for a break of structure, and then you want to wait for a retracement. Right, so the blue is just where you anchor your FOB from the low to the high, and then the retracement, which would be your OTE, which is the ICT optimal trade entry, which is the 62%, and then from that FOB level you can then look for long opportunities. All right, so once price reaches your higher time frame area of interest, you can then start stalking lower time frames for these types of confirmations. So just gonna see, yeah, so this was the chart on US30 which I marked out for the members. The same thing happened. All right, you see, so here was the break of structure. All right, price broke a high, price then retraced. All right, that's the 62%, and that was my entry. And you can see I marked out that this happened at a 4-hour order block. All right, so price made a low, a high. All right, price then failed to make a lower low, price broke a high, right, which then indicated to me that price showed willingness and price respected the H4 order block by breaking the lower time frame high, and within that retracement on the 62%, that was my entry, which was right here. All right, US30, you can see that was my entry, and I moved my stop to break even. All right, so I closed up a few profits, but price did retrace lower again to tap into the H4 order block, and price just continued higher. Right, so that was US30. That's just AUDUSD. This is the same weekly time frame, which was the Friday. So we can see price is showing respect for that last down close candle that we have. All right, so once you see that happens, you want to then scale down to your 15-minute or whichever time frame you use for entries. All right, you can then start stalking price, and now we are finally getting to what I wanted to show you guys. All right, so this was my rough projection. As I said here, I just needed more information from the Asian range. All right, you can see that I was waiting for price to open up, make a low. All right, close in this to close in the imbalance that we have, and then looking for price to trade above the previous day's high and obviously Wednesday's high. All right, and why am I doing this? Because obviously, like I said, price showed willingness on the weekly time frame order block that we might be trading higher, and the fact that price broke this high and this high also said to me that we do have a break of structure and that price would not reach any further than this low right here. All right, so this was my rough projection. All right, obviously there are ways that you can project the low of the day and high of the day, but that's ICT content which I cannot speak about. But first that you see here is the power of 3 which I used from ICT. All right, he speaks about that in his YouTube channel. You can check it out at Inner Circle Trader. So this is what I was waiting for, and as you can see on the chart right here, the same chart, you can see that I just waited for price to open up, drop, make the low of the day, and I was looking for my entry right in this region. Right, this is the 1 hour time frame, but if you scale lower to your 15-minute or your 5-minute, you will find that you do have your confirmation to take trades. All right, so you can see that we do have a low right here, and this last 3 down close candles, there's 2, you can use that as your order block. All right, and from that low to that high, that is your imbalance which you can use. All right, so I'm just going to mark this out. So from that low, let's make this red. All right, now let's make this thick. From that low to the high, all right, that's your imbalance, and then obviously the last 2 up close candles, that's your order block. Let's just change this color to blue. All right, so that's how you just refine your entries on your lower time frames. And you can see that price made a nice low, all right, to create the low of the day, but obviously it missed my entries because I refined it to, if I'm not mistaken, it was this last down close candle, which I did use as one of the confluences that I predicted price might make the low of the day, which was something like this. So yeah, the blue was my entry point. All right, as you can see right here on Nasdaq, you can see that price missed my entry, so that's okay, can't catch them all. But yeah, that was just the reason, or one of the reasons that I took the trade was obviously the order block, and I used ICT's power of 3, all right, to almost project the low of the day. All right, but sometimes if you want to be too precise, you will miss more trades. All right, so it's important not to redefine your trades to the lowest. All right, you can experience some drawdown, there's nothing wrong with drawdown. All right, so just keep that in mind. You don't want to always reach for that picture perfect entry. All right, so that was the trade on Nasdaq. Is there anything else? Nah, this was just the after. Yeah, so that's the low, price broke higher, broke Thursday's high and Wednesday's high, and now we are where we are. All right, so this is that. So let's just take a quick look at what we can possibly expect. I'm just going to clear this up right here, and let's just start off from the daily time frame. So we can see we are approaching this last up close candle, which could play as resistance. All right, so we just want to keep that in mind and wait for price to show you that it wants to head towards towards the downside. All right, but what price can do is just take out these highs. All right, right here it can take out the previous high or the all-time high and then just drop down. All right, we need to wait for price to show us that. But if price breaks the highs and makes another all-time high, you can then use the last candle as a potential order block, or you can use the close, I mean the high of this imbalance, right, which you can then start to stock for long opportunities. But in this instance, I would rather wait for the last down close candle. Let's just head to the 4-hour and see how we can redefine this. So yeah, so on the 4-hour we can see that we do have a lovely imbalance, right, which would be from that low, and let's use the high of that candle, then obviously, as you know, the last down close candle, which we can use as our area of interest to start stalking price for long opportunities. So I'm just going to redefine this 4-hour because we do have somewhat of equal highs right here, right, that price might just tap into and retrace lower. And let's mark out this potential resistance, which is obviously your bearish order block right there, which we can then use. And if we look to the left of it, we do have another one, which would be that one right there. So we have two areas which we can then look at once price gets there. So for now, let's just wait and see what happens and what price presents to us. Now let's see the 1-hour. Yeah, so like I said, rather wait for price to show you that it wants to go lower. And by that I mean once price reaches up here, you wanna wait for price to give you something like this. All right, you wanna wait for price to break structure, all right, right here, and then obviously you wanna wait for a retracement to either enter at a classic ICT 62% OTE entry, or you can then use the last up close candle, which would then be up here as an order block. It could be 1 candle, 2 candles, or 3. You need to wait and see what price presents to you at that moment in time, and then you can take your entry. All right, so I would wait for something like that on the lower time frames once price reaches up here, because if this does not happen, sorry, then I would rather wait for price to break through that and then show willingness to head lower. All right, so that's all that I see for now on Nasdaq, but I will update you guys that's in the Telegram channel. But yeah, that's all I see for now. So yeah, I hope you guys have a great trading week. Until the next video, I wish you guys good luck, happy trading, look after yourselves and stay safe. May God bless you guys. Until the next video, cheers.